All right, day 2 of no food. So I'm 48 hours in now. I just weighed in at 191, so that's down 8.1 pounds, I believe. Today was definitely a little tougher than yesterday. I think yesterday there was some kind of like adrenaline with getting started with this that carried it through and made it a little bit easier. Being 4 days away, like the start of the day, I was 4 days away from being able to eat again. It was definitely a little bit more of a mental challenge. And again, I'm kind of always struck with the like when I get these like hunger pangs or those headaches that I generally know are from being hungry. I can't just go eat food like I normally would because I am pretty in tune with that stuff. And so that's a little bit frustrating. The other thing, and I feel like I'm rounding the bend on this a little bit, and I think from what I hear, the next 3 days are actually supposed to be better, and today should be the worst. Possibly tomorrow could be more of the same, but is that my energy levels are just not conducive to doing anything productive. So I ran classes in the morning, basically came home or worked from home, did some programming, did some reading, and other than that, didn't do too much physically at all. Went to the park with Garrison and played with him for a little bit, and that was just a little bit. I just didn't have the energy to kind of like participate and do the things that I wanted to do, which is it is just part of the process, but it's frustrating, and I kind of feel like I'm wasting a day, like where I feel like a day should be productive for me. Like if I'm not at 100% capacity, I don't feel good about the day's results. So it's hard for me to. I'm trying to keep in mind that this is a process and a learning thing that I'm getting something from, and that it's that's part of the lesson. So other than that, I don't have a ton to add to my experience so far. The smell of food is a little bit frustrating at this point. Where if I walk into somewhere and I smell food, or I got pulled in the driveway this evening and I think the neighbors are barbecuing. That was a little bit. It wasn't like I was agonizing or that I was gonna quit or anything. It was just kind of like, oh man, that smells pretty good. I'd like to have some of that food right now. And that's, I think, right now the major takeaway from this is just like the ritual, like how much of a ritual food is and how big of a part it plays in life. And to take that away has been a very interesting experiment. And we'll see what else I glean from it. I think I had an interesting conversation today, and I've had quite a few people actually come up to me after finding out that I'm doing this and talk to me about their experience doing the same thing. And I had a good conversation today with somebody who really viewed their cleanse not as a weight loss solution, but more of a reset. And I think that's a really good way to look at it for people if they're gonna embark on this journey. That it's just a way to look at starting over, because you're taking away all your habits and erasing them or all your food habits and erasing them for 5 days. So if you have, if every day at 10 a.m. you have for my case, I usually have like cottage cheese or some hard-boiled eggs. I've taken that away, and now it's not a have to anymore. After 5 days of not doing that, it's not necessarily like enough to totally reset the behavior, but it's enough to springboard perhaps some greater change. So that habit, I'm gonna continue because I think that's a pretty solid habit. But if somebody were in the case of that, instead of something high in protein and a healthy snack, they were doing I don't know. I don't have a good example off the top of my head, but if they needed to then cut those things out and wanted a clean slate to start from, and they thought this was, they were really dark down that hole and they just couldn't, or really far along and they couldn't reset, this might be a good option. Yeah, so it's been fun. Wish me luck.